maybe put you back into what is a normal rhythm.
When she crashed, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Her respiratory status is declining, so as of right now, we're gonna hook this ambu bag up and try to maybe give her some oxygen through there.
She still has a rhythm, but it's kind of like a big pause in between. We're like, okay, this isn't good. So we're like, how do we get this back? Where do we start? Who does what?
She's not breathing adequately. Do you want to flop the bed? We're gonna give her respirations. Trisha.
Rapid response, yes, 161.
She does have a pulse. But she still has a slight pulse. It's just very, very slow.
I want 2 people on the chest, 2 people behind Julie on the chest. Lift that chin up. There you go. Just keep compressions.
How are you feeling, Miss Patricia?
122/90. Hi, welcome back. How are you feeling? For a little bit.
The biggest thing students take from this is in a code situation, it's all about teamwork.
I definitely learned a lot of collaboration, and ultimately the goal was to learn how to save a life.
As a person, I have learned probably more through this sport than I have anything else in my life. I learned self-motivation, how to be dedicated and really work towards something. Everybody in this world is too focused on being comfortable, and my whole thing is trying to kind of push that limit a little bit. That's something I really attribute to my success here.
At a school like Stevenson, you really get to know the students, not just as athletes, but as people as well. And I've had a really good opportunity to get to know Pat, not just on the cross-country course and the track, but also as an individual. And he's grown a lot as a person and as an athlete, and it's really been an honor to coach him and see him develop.
Stevenson, for me, was a lot different than a lot of the other colleges I applied for. It was a lot smaller, and I accredit my choice of coming here a lot to the coach. You know, he had a lot of experience. He had a lot of big plans for his athletes. And him being 2-time Baltimore Marathon winner had a lot to do because I knew he had the experience. He could get me where I wanted to go. He really individualizes things. Instead of putting people in large groups like I've seen at other universities, he really focuses on the things outside of running that are the little things that help you become successful at this sport. Going into one of the biggest races of my collegiate career, I wasn't as nervous as I thought I'd be. That nervousness, however, did hit me on the way to get over to the course. Coming down the final straightaway, it hadn't really hit me what I was doing and that I had such a lead. I looked over into the crowd and saw my dad and kind of give him a fist bump and got a big smile on my face and just ran through the line. And I was kind of just in shock. It really means a lot to win because it's really hard to win an individual national championship for cross country because it's only one guy that gets that. And I just feel like all the hard work paid off and it was a huge relief at the end of the season.
As a coach, you're not always going to be able to have somebody that can win a national championship, but our goal here is to not just have the best possible athletes, but the best possible people.
Music for me really developed into a full-out passion during high school. I was involved in band, orchestra, and choir, and I had leadership roles in all of them. But the reason I decided to be so involved in the music program here was just because it was programmable into my schedule, and it's just something I'm so passionate about. As a communication major, it's important to me to have as many different outlets to communicate and to express myself. As long as you're willing to learn for any of the ensembles we have, then we have a really good staff that's able to help you learn and progress with your instrument. Most of my positive memories actually come from being involved in the music program. If I had to think back to some of the things freshman year that helped me make it through freshman year, first of all, it has to do with me being in band, making friends with my section, and just getting more involved in the program. Since I am in band, orchestra, and choir, I have so many different ways to express myself. I have so many different challenges to take on and try to learn from. Music is a huge part of my life, and I'm so glad that Stevenson has the opportunities for me to express myself.
Esports is playing competitive games at the highest level possible against, in our case, other schools. So basically it all started with me and a few friends. We got together and started playing League of Legends together. We wanted to make a team, and then over time they gave us a room to play, and since then we basically started adopting other games that we felt would be very competitive. And today we have a full esports arena now with 25 gaming PCs where students can come in and play those games together.
When I looked at Stevenson University, I knew the psych program was very good, but I didn't know really of the esports program. But just entering the room and just seeing people just trying to game and do their best, essentially, as a team and coordinate and talk about the game here was an environment I'd never really seen or been a part of ever before in my life. So when I first went into the esports room, I knew immediately this was the school for me.
At orientation, I actually saw a presentation about the esports club, but I didn't know that it had an Overwatch team. I'm a commuter student, so I'm not on campus a whole lot. It's very inclusive, but this is a good way for me to meet friends and hang out with people on campus.
I think that the esports program allows students to work on a team just like they would on any other sports team, but in this case it's for video games. It also helps students in their coursework if they are a technical student, if they want to do video or social media, you know, all these things are involved in our club. So being able to provide that for the students I think is really important.
The college flock that we started here at Stevenson is the first of its kind and is our first effort to really engage with college students where they are on campus.
Today we're very excited to have Jacoby Jones on campus and come speak to the Stevenson community. He was on that 2013 Super Bowl team and he took back that 108-yard kick return.
Mentally, I wasn't gonna be told no more. Like, you weren't gonna tell me I can't be great. You're not gonna stop me from my goals or what I wanted to achieve in life.
The overall goal of the club is to expose the Stevenson students to how the professional sports industry is run, and what not a better way to do that than have the Baltimore Ravens, who are right down the street, give us that knowledgeable insight.
We chose Stevenson to be the first ever Ravens college flock because of the great relationship we've had with Stevenson over the past 25 years almost. This was the Colts practice facility back when they were here, back in the 80s. This was the Ravens' first practice facility when we got here in the 90s. And we've had a great relationship of having open practices here for fans to come to. We've had many staff members come over and do different talks with different classes here. And we've had great interns come from Stevenson to work with us throughout the organization.
One of the opportunities that we have coming up is a panel discussion with the Ravens people in the organization. And what we want to do is we want to bring business communication, HR, legal, kind of just to get that feel of the sport management industry and get that first real-world experience that other people across different campuses in Maryland cannot say that they can get.
First thing Isaac Newsom told me was, just be yourself. Like, they let you be who you are. It's a family. Like, everybody love each other, like, it's crazy.
The thing about the Ravens is that people that leave the organization, they always have something good to say about it. If you have enough respect, and they have enough respect to treat you equally. And that's what I think makes the Ravens special.
Social-emotional development is about the same thing that academic development is about. But have you been taught practices that develop kids' social-emotional learning? So my point is that you're doing some of this, but you as a future teacher needs to teach for social emotional learning with intention. So we're going to get into it in kind of a light way. I want to see which group can build the tallest Jenga. When your group gets to this table, you will construct a spaghetti tower. After you finish the activity, I will cue you. You'll deconstruct it. You'll figure out what learning experiences you've had. And then you'll post a behavioral objective. So when you're constructing, are you is this a lower level cognitive activity or a higher level? So after you've developed your knowledge through experiential learning activities and we're able to deconstruct a few in a fun play way, we'll apply that same thing to the lesson that you already taught.
I learned how to create objectives and how to incorporate them into lessons for the social emotional learning theory.
I think that I'll be able to use this in my current and future teaching experiences by having instructional lessons that will benefit them.
Because when we talk about how kids behave and how it's a problem for us in the future, I do think in part it's because we haven't been addressing it as clearly as we can in the educative environment.
The project title is In Freedom's Name, and it commemorates the contributions of Maryland's black men and women to the expansion of freedom in the world. It was conceptualized by the Maryland Military Historical Society. It was researched and put together as an exhibit by students in the public history program, and it was funded by the Baltimore National Heritage Area.
One of the important things about a project like this is that it's bringing stories that weren't necessarily told to the forefront. And that's a big part of what public history is it's telling the people's stories. So it's focused on the stories that are not really heard as much. And that's what's really awesome about an exhibit like this is you walk into it and you begin to really see and understand a lot about black history, especially in Maryland.
I learned how to set up an exhibit, how everything needs to be taken care of, but also you learn that these people are real and you have to think of the impact that you're having by telling their story and making sure it's right.
The things we achieved in putting this exhibit together are things historians and public historians do on a daily basis at the professional level. And here, Stevenson students learn it while they're undergrads, a task which is usually not learned until you're well out into the professional world.
I'm Dr. Jeremy Burkett here in the chemistry department at Stevenson University. Today we're going to take a look at a cool example of one of the ways we can use a specific chemical reaction to help us in the world of something like crime scene investigation.
So here we have luminol, and here we have hydrogen peroxide, and when the two are mixed, the bonds broken in luminol create a reaction that releases light.
Some chemical reactions might release heat or absorb heat during the course of it, but very rare ones can release pure light.
This tube lets us see the reaction best as it continually runs down the tube rather than just pouring it in one beaker and just seeing it disappear. Now we're ready to begin the demonstration. Goggles, lights, and now we'll pour.
Now, as you can see, when the two chemicals come in contact, the reaction starts. One of the bonds in luminol starts to break, and every time it happens, light is emitted. You can see that blue glow, and that tells you that the reaction is happening. And here at Stevenson, we really try to get our students involved with cool experiences like this so that they can see how the science they learn in the classroom can impact the real world.
The fact that you could be a freshman in the legal studies major and right out the gates you could join something as amazing as mock trial is just an incredible experience. In today's case, we have the defendant Dylan Hendricks, who's being charged with the attempted murder of Carrie Bellion, the victim, and I represent Dylan Hendricks on the defense. We're going against a team that's aggressive and pretty savvy in the courtroom, but we're going to use the skills that we learned to overcome that. It's absolutely necessary to remain objective and not immediately fixate on someone you believe to be guilty.
One of the great things about mock trial is you get to experience it from multiple angles. So you'll experience it as a witness, and then you'll also experience it as an attorney. But to experience it as a witness, this helps you to identify how do I interact with them, what questions would I ask them, and that sort of thing. Because even Dr. Smith's simple testing shows us that Ms. Hendricks simply walking past the Jaywood building would be able to connect to the Wi-Fi without actually entering the Jaywood building.
The trial today turned out to be a great experience, and I think that our strategy played out well because we were all confident, we gave it our best, and what more can you ask for?
So today, the students are going to be in a simulation where the mannequin actually go in a cardiac arrest and see how the students respond, see if they pick up on the monitor, and see how they respond to a code blue situation where they're trying to resuscitate the patient in a group team effort.
How are you feeling right now? Do you feel any different?
I'm okay.
Yeah? Do you mind if we start by taking some vital signs and assessing you?
Okay, Patricia, this is some amiodarone. It's a pill that's going to help control your heart rate and maybe put you back into what is a normal rhythm.
When she crashed, it's a little nerve-wracking.
Her respiratory status is declining, so as of right now, we're going to hook this ambu bag up and try to maybe give her some oxygen through there.
She still has a rhythm, but it's kind of like a big pause in between. We're like, okay, this isn't good. So we're like, how do we get this back? Where do we start? Who does what?
She's not breathing adequately. Do you want to flop the bed? We're going to give her respirations. Trisha.
Rapid response. Yes, 161.
She does have a pulse. But she still has a slight pulse. It's just very, very slow.
I want 2 people on the chest, 2 people behind Julie on the chest. Lift that chin up. There you go. Let's keep compressions.
How are you feeling, Miss Patricia?
122/90. Hi, welcome back. How are you feeling? For a little bit.
The biggest thing students should take from this is in a code situation, it's all about teamwork.
I definitely learned a lot of collaboration, and ultimately the goal was to learn how to save a life.
As a person, I have learned probably more through this sport than I have anything else in my life. I learned self-motivation, how to be dedicated and really work towards something. Everybody in this world is too focused on being comfortable, and my whole thing is trying to kind of push that limit a little bit. That's something I really attribute to my success here.
At a school like Stevenson, you really get to know the students, not just as athletes, but as people as well. And I've had a really good opportunity to get to know Pat, not just on the cross-country course and the track, but also as an individual. And he's grown a lot as a person and as an athlete, and it's really been an honor to coach him and see him develop.
Stevenson, for me, was a lot different than a lot of the other colleges I applied for. It was a lot smaller, and I accredit my choice of coming here a lot to the coach. You know, he had a lot of experience. He had a lot of big plans for his athletes. And him being 2-time Baltimore Marathon winner had a lot to do because I knew he had the experience. He could get me where I wanted to go. He really individualizes things. Instead of putting people in large groups like I've seen at other universities, he really focuses on the things outside of running that are the little things that help you become successful at this sport. Going into one of the biggest races of my collegiate career, I wasn't as nervous as I thought I'd be. That nervousness, however, did hit me on the way to get over to the course. Coming down the final straightaway, it hadn't really hit me what I was doing and that I had such a lead. I looked over into the crowd and saw my dad and kind of give him a fist bump and had a big smile on my face and just ran through the line. And I was kind of just in shock. It really means a lot to win because it's really hard to win an individual national championship for cross country because it's only one guy that gets that. And I just feel like all the hard work paid off and it was a huge relief at the end of the season.
As a coach, you're not always going to be able to have somebody that can win a national championship, but our goal here is to not just have the best possible athletes, but the best possible people.
Music for me really developed into a full-out passion during high school. I was involved in band, orchestra, and choir, and I had leadership roles in all of them. But the reason I decided to be so involved in the music program here was just because it was programmable into my schedule, and it's just something I'm so passionate about. As a communication major, it's important to me to have as many different outlets to communicate and to express myself. As long as you're willing to learn for any of the ensembles we have, then we have a really good staff that's able to help you learn and progress with your instrument. Most of my positive memories actually come from being involved in the music program. If I had to think back to some of the things freshman year that helped me make it through freshman year, first of all, it has to do with me being in band, making friends with my section, and just getting more involved in the program. Since I am in band, orchestra, and choir, I have so many different ways to express myself. I have so many different challenges to take on and try to learn from. Music is a huge part of my life, and I'm so glad that Stevenson has the opportunities for me to express myself.
Esports is playing competitive games at the highest level possible against, in our case, other schools. So basically it all started with me and a few friends. We got together and started playing League of Legends together. We wanted to make a team, and then over time they gave us a room to play, and since then we basically started adopting other games.
Good afternoon. You may be seated. On behalf of Stevenson University, I'm delighted to welcome you to today's commencement exercises. My name is Susan Gorman, and I serve as Stevenson's Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost. It is so exciting to be gathered together in person today, and we really appreciate and thank you for your efforts to keep each other and your families and friends safe. With that in mind, with that in mind, please continue to wear your face coverings as we move through the ceremony. I want to pause just for a moment to tell you something about Stevenson that you might not know. We have a school flower. It is the sunflower because the sunflower was the favorite flower of St. Julie Billiard, whose faith tradition founded our great university. So at this time of global challenge, it seems worth noting that Stevenson's mission statement still reflects the ideals on which the university was founded, most notably the belief that there is goodness in each of us and that education manifests this goodness. The Stevenson community is committed to preparing our graduates for a lifetime of learning and contribution, and the sunflower reminds us to be the good in the world. And I would add that it's not just our students who are sunflowers. The entire Stevenson community is well known for its exceptional warmth, caring, and compassion. And in that spirit, I'd like to take a moment to thank every member of the Stevenson community who makes sure that our students are educated, safe, fed, cared for, supported, engaged, and mentored each and every day. And on this day in particular, I want to give a special shout out to the hundreds of Stevenson staff and faculty members who have made personal commitments and sacrifices to make Commencement Week as special as possible for our graduates and their families and friends. The joy of this day is shared widely and made possible by so many who have walked this journey with our students. So as I look up and around the room today, I see a field of sunflowers. Graduates, please know that you are and always will be a member of the Stevenson family. We are all very proud of you and hope you will stay connected with Stevenson as you take the next steps in your life journey. And so we are gathered here today because commencement is a celebration. And to help you make some noise in a COVID-safe way, we've provided each of you and your guests with a hand clacker or a maraca. So we're hoping to raise the roof with our hands today. Today is a day when everyone in the Stevenson community celebrates our graduates, and at the top of the list is our Board of Trustees. Commencement is always a very proud day for them as they watch you graduate, so please join me in listening to a message from the Chair of Stevenson's Board of Trustees, Mr. Scott Pugach.
Congratulations, class of 2021. I am Scott Pugach, Chair of the Board of Trustees. A college experience is a memorable time in life. Your journey with us unquestionably took an unforeseen course. Life on campus was clearly different, but we remained determined and you adapted, and we thank you for helping. The university's mission, blending liberal arts with career exploration and planning, aims to not simply prepare you for your career, but also to help prepare you for anything you may encounter in your lifetime endeavors. After all, we learn to measure exactly 6 feet without using 2 yardsticks. We learn to wash our hands and sing happy birthday at the same time, and we certainly gave a new meaning to the term blue jeans. You worked hard to earn your degree. You have become accomplished individuals. Be confident, be curious, be aware, and be optimistic. You are graduating well prepared to meet the opportunities and challenges ahead. But remember, even with all the knowledge you have gained, you are still allowed to say, "I don't know." An especially appropriate response when your parents ask you this evening, "When are you moving out?" for learning, for living the Stevenson way. Make us proud of all you do. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, our warmest congratulations. Enjoy your special day. Stay safe, and please, don't be strangers to Stevenson.
It is now my pleasure to introduce you to the members of the stage party. I'll ask each person to stand, and as their name is called, and audience, I ask that you please hold your applause until everyone on stage has been introduced. Dr. Cheryl Wilson, Dean, School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Interim Dean, School of Business and Leadership, and Vice Provost for Academic Affairs. Ebenezer Offel, Associate Professor of Religion. Ryan Clark, Program Coordinator and Associate Professor, Theater. Dr. Jeffrey Elliott, Department Chair and Professor, Psychology. Dr. Glenn Johnston, Program Coordinator, Humanities and History and Assistant Professor of History. Dr. John Rosicki, Department Chair and Professor, Counseling and Human Services. And then there was one. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Stevenson University's President, Dr. Elliot Hirschman.
Welcome. It is my great pleasure to join our entire community in congratulating our graduates. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the support of the many family members and friends who have helped make today possible. Congratulations. Congratulations also go to our faculty and staff members, represented today by our stage party, who have taught and mentored our graduates. Congratulations. To our graduates, you've overcome great challenges to be here today. Facing the extraordinary circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic, you have shown resilience, you have innovated, you have persisted, and today you graduate. For all of these reasons, we pay tribute to you. In academic tradition, graduation is referred to as commencement. Thus, today is a beginning as well as an ending, and today you join our proud alumni tradition. As you join our alumni, I wish for each of you what I wish for my own adult children and grandchild. I hope that you will continue to learn and to grow, that you will laugh and love and be kind, that you will embrace a noble purpose, and that ultimately you'll become the person you hope to be. Of course, there will be challenges. The last year has certainly taught us that. I can, however, assure you that no matter the twists and turns of the future, you're prepared. You've shown you have the capacity to learn, to grow, to be kind to others, and to meet challenges that were inconceivable even a few years ago. As your life and your career develop, we hope that you will return often to your university, to your roots. We will most assuredly welcome you back. You graduate today with our affection and our respect. We're deeply honored to have shared a part of your life and very grateful for the part that you've played in the life of this great university. Congratulations, graduates.
Thank you, President Hirschman. Stevenson's faculty are the bedrock of each student's academic experience. Will you please join me in listening to a message from Dr. Jeffrey Elliott, Professor of Psychology.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jeff Elliott, Chair of the Psychology Department. Graduating seniors and guests, let's reflect for a moment on hope. Desmond Tutu, the African theologian and human rights activist, once said, Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. Certainly, we are living in dark times, enduring the COVID pandemic, racist attacks on Blacks and Asian Americans, and mass shootings. We've experienced isolation, fear, and loss. Indeed, some of us may even have lost hope. But to quote Franklin Delano Roosevelt, president during the Great Depression and World War II, Americans have always held to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there is a better life, a better world, just beyond the horizon. Today, the horizon is represented by your graduation, the culmination of years of hard work and persistence. In these years, believe it or not, by overcoming adversity, you have emerged stronger. You have developed resilience to meet the inevitable ups and downs that life will bring, and you are prepared to meet the demands of the future. You, as some of the first graduating seniors from Generation Z, represent our hope for a better life and a better world. I am convinced that we will all benefit from your generation's appreciation of diversity and inclusion, your commitment to social justice and to change, and your ability to envision creative yet pragmatic solutions to the world's problems. You, graduating seniors, are the light in the darkness. You will lead us to those better days to come, just over the horizon. American singer-songwriter Patti Smith declared in her song, People Have the Power, that people have the power to dream, to rule, to wrestle the earth from fools, and through our union, to turn the world around. Graduating seniors, by working together, you have the power to make this world a brighter place. You are the light in the darkness of our times. You are our hope. Congratulations, you've made it. Go forth and do good things. Thank you.
And it's now my privilege to introduce our class of 2021 student commencement speaker, Isabella Emanuel Maxey. Isabella is a business communication major who is a member of the National Communication Honor Society as well as the National Society of Leadership and Success. She has taken full advantage of opportunities available to her at Stevenson, including completing 4 internships. Please join me in listening to Isabella's message.
Hello, everyone. I'm Isabella Maxey, and by the end of this week, I'll be a business communication graduate. For the past 4 years, I've introduced myself as a BizCom major, but there's a little more to me. For example, my favorite movie is Forrest Gump. You can probably guess the quote from the movie I'm about to say. Life is like a box of chocolates, and you never know what you're gonna get. Well, I don't think any of us could have possibly guessed what we were going to get at the end of this year. Rather than a box of chocolates, it felt more like a fistful of Sour Patch Kids. First, it was really sour. Like, I couldn't physically go to class and had to learn through a screen sour. But hey, we did it. We made it through the hardest part of our college careers. Whether it was a difficult class, balancing work and studies, a 6 a.m. lift, or, I don't know, a global pandemic, we made it through and we're graduating. You gotta admit, it was sour, but this is pretty sweet. If there's anything that my time at Stevenson has taught me, as I'm sure it's taught many of you, it's how to persevere. Just because the world stopped doesn't mean you did. We still went to class, we still passed our tests, we still had club events and coffee houses and played sports for as long as we could, and we still took care of our families. Some moments were sweet, some moments were sour. Despite that, all delicious. My advice to you, class of 2021, is to always be hungry for more experience, because that experience will make you great. It already has. You're going to be an amazing nurse long after your clinicals. You're going to be a hotshot lawyer long after mock trial. And if you're anything like me, you're still going to be a lifelong student, and maybe just a little bit of a procrastinator, even after you've graduated. No matter what you become, the world needs you. It needs designers, researchers, business owners, therapists, teachers, all of you. Your actions, the role you choose to play in society, everything you've learned up to this point has prepared you to make a difference. The world needs people who know how to push through and do more. In other words, The world needs more Mustangs. So go make the world a sweeter place. Congratulations, class of 2021. We did it.
You did it indeed, and now we are ready to begin the most exciting part of the whole ceremony for all of us. Mr. President, will you please join me on stage so that we may introduce to you the candidates for the bachelor's degrees. It is with great pleasure that I present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. These candidates have completed all requirements for the bachelor's degree, and the faculty asks that these degrees be conferred.
I invite all candidates for the bachelor's degree to please stand. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and upon the recommendation of our distinguished faculty, I confer upon you the bachelor's degree with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. It is customary for graduates to move the tassels on your cap from the right to the left as a symbol of your achievements. Please move your tassels. Congratulations, graduates. Please be seated.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Cheryl Wilson, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Dean of the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. I'd like to thank Dr. Hirschman and Dr. Gorman for their leadership and their participation in this week's many commencement activities. Their commitment to keeping Stevenson safe over the last 14 months has made it possible for us to be together on campus today celebrating your graduation. Degree candidates, when prompted by the marshals, you'll approach the stage maintaining a bit of distance between each other. When close to the stage, you'll swipe your grad pass. One by one, ascend the stairs, pick up a scroll, walk to the middle of the stage, pause for a photo, and then continue walking across the stage.
Crystal K. Augustin, magna cum laude. Emily Grace Basinger. Evan James Berman. Titiona N. Berry, cum laude. Courtney Ann Bittinger, summa cum laude. Ralph Black, summa cum laude. Alyssa Danielle Branham. Kayla Marie Briles. Ajane Vinique Briscoe. Kimberly Button. Annika M. Carlander. Michaela Carnby. Victoria Elizabeth Carter. Taylor Alexandra Claiborne. Kira Marie Collins, cum laude. Samuel Nana Cook, cum laude. Charmaine Nicole Corprew. DeMarcus Antonio Crawford, Jr. Caitlin Marie Curry. Derek Davis. Olivia Catherine Dinter. Deja Duke Phillips. David Edison Eyring, cum laude. Marcus Delonte Forrester. Rachel Michelle Foster, cum laude. Wildegi Tara Francois. Sydney Simone Garnes. Jenna Iser, summa cum laude. Evan Alexander Joseph. Isha Kashmiri, magna cum laude. Timothy Jordan Malley. Jordan Ann McCumbee. Haley Elizabeth Monahan. Jacqueline Dayizeye. Adam James Nelson, cum laude. Anne Quinn Wynn, cum laude. Margaret Lyndon Nichols Reams. Elijah James Nieto. Jonathan Mauricio Nolasco. Elise Marie Nutter, cum laude. Helen Naith Parada. Jasmine Danielle Pope. Damian Randall. Nadina Maya C. Charon, cum laude. Jordan Shapiro, summa cum laude. Shiloh Quinton Shassian. Elena Elizabeth Shetterly. Leah Elizabeth Sermalis. Catherine Elise Stickley, cum laude. Agnes E. B. Touré, magna cum laude. Michael James Vandervossen, magna cum laude. Jennifer Beatrice Velasquez. Caitlin May Walsh, magna cum laude. Margaret Elizabeth Watson. Olivia T. Webb, summa cum laude. Ashlyn Weisgerber. Kylie Lynn Wells. Hunter Alexis Wesley. Julia Ann Wingard. Ethel Silanette Zapita, magna cum laude.
Congratulations, graduates. Now, please stand as you are able as we listen to Katrina Manabat, class of 2023, sing the Stevenson University alma mater. The Stevenson University 67th commencement exercises are now concluded. We ask that the audience please remain in your seats and in the gym until all of our graduates have filed out in our recessional march. At that time, you may join the graduates outside for pictures. Thank you for joining us and have a lovely afternoon.